Happy 420. I'm Kai.
And I'm Queen Reefer, and you're watching
Stone Cold Murder. Just a PSA, if you have any information that can help solve a crime, go to crimestoppers.com to report any information anonymously.
This podcast contains material that might not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Thanks for tuning in for Season 3, Episode 2. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
Yeah, so today we have an insane case. I've already dabbed, so we don't have to cut to that. First, I want to tell you some exciting news that I have.
Ooh?
Yeah, guess
Tea?
what I got?
What did you get?
Corn shoes.
Are you wearing them? No, you
No.
don't even have shoes.
They're not. No, I'm poor because of the corn shoes.
But you still have other shoes.
I had to sell them all
Mm,
to get the corn shoes.
the corn. Okay, do you have a picture of the corn?
Yeah.
The corn.
Of my corns. Ew. You know what? So corn is 30 years old. Happens to be the same age as me. So they were, sorry, I got distracted by the mystery. They're, they were established in 94. I happen to be born in 94. So they're doing 30 years of corn. And they released... What?
This sounds so funny.
Corn.
30 years of
They
corn.
released a line with Adidas because corn has been a big supporter of Adidas since 94, basically. And they have a whole corn line. I've been trying to get corn shoes for 3 different releases now.
Oh, I think I've seen them before, but I want to see them. I think you showed me the last time they were supposed to come out, and then they didn't. Or you didn't get them or something.
No, I didn't, and I cried.
Oh.
I literally lost my shit because I wanted them so bad. But these ones are cooler,
Pussy.
I will have to admit. I'm a pussy.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I kid.
I guess I'm just too tough to cry.
My favorite.
Dude, you should just cry about corn shoes. Look at these motherfuckers. They say corn on them. They're not super special. But they are to me. Don't make fun of them, please.
No, they're cute. I was just the picture you showed me was like.
No, they're cute.
No, the picture you showed me was like really blurry, so I couldn't really see it. But I'm trying to find a better picture. Okay, here we go. No, they're cute. You know, they should add like signatures to it.
I think they have the their logo in the sole of it.
Oh, cute.
So sorry about the corn distraction. I'm just excited about that.
It's cool.
It's corn. I love corn.
I'm glad you got them.
I know.
When do they come in?
Wednesday.
Ooh.
And accidentally got 2 pairs. So I have 2 pairs of corn shoes.
Super.
I'm gonna sell the other pair probably.
Yeah.
For corn money. For next time corn comes. So
Yeah.
we can eat corn and see corn. In my corn shoes.
Take a shot for every time you see corn.
What?
I just want to hear your best corn impression.
Boom, ba, da, bee, da, bee, da, bee, ba.
A boom da boom ma buddy da da boom da boom ma buddy da go boom.
So do you have any exciting corn shoes news? Shoosh.
They don't have corn shoes.
Oh.
No.
Looks like I'm the corn.
Yeah, I know. Always have been.
Lies.
Whatever. No, I don't have no corn shoes.
Do you have any cool news? I don't know if it sounded like I said corn shoes.
That's what I thought you said. I thought you said, so do you have any corn shoes? I was like,
Cool news.
no. Not
Maybe I
really.
did. Okay.
I'm just excited for my gym I'm building. Or we're building. And
You're gonna get
the
those
sauna.
The sound.
The sauna. Can't wait to
Really?
sit in there at night.
Nice and toasty.
Oh yeah, brother.
Especially for the snow.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Well, are you ready to start this case?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this case is a case of mistaken identity.
Dun 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 dun.
I already said that I have taken my dab, so you guys need to get your dabs ready, or bowls, or edibles, perhaps. Whatever you. Or if you don't partake, that's fine too. Get some snacks ready and get ready to get into the case. She looks soft. Can I touch it? Okay. Distracted.
Squirrel. Oh, too soon.
R.I.P. Peanut, the squirrel. If you guys don't know about Peanut the squirrel,
Don't go look it up. You'll cry.
our nation committed an atrocity recently.
Justice for Peanut and Fred.
And Fred, yeah, the raccoon. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Have you guys heard about this, Matt and Danny? No. All right, let me tell you this really quick. So, this man has a squirrel that he rescued from a baby. He's had the squirrel 7 years. He also owns a nonprofit animal rescue for animals that cannot be rehabilitated. Some can, but most of them cannot. So he has a squirrel that can't be rehabilitated and a raccoon that lives with him. And they're like kind of the forefront of his nonprofit, how he makes money to support his nonprofit. And someone made a complaint about this squirrel on TikTok that he was like mistreating it because it was a wild animal that's inside, but they didn't know that it's something that can't be released back into the wild. The DEA came into his house, raided his house like he had fucking drugs, got a search warrant,
Arrested him.
arrested this man, took the squirrel and the fucking raccoon, and euthanized them both.
Why was the DEA involved?
That's what I said. Well, I think the whoever called it in like did one of those like SWAT things, you know what I mean? Like one of those. And he got in trouble and they killed the squirrel and the raccoon. It's horrible. They were. It makes me so
Yeah.
sad. Yeah, and now they don't even know how to make money for their nonprofit because he was like a trained squirrel that did all these tricks and stuff. And, anyways, R.I.P. Peanut.
Yeah, I'm so sad. He was so cute too.
All right, let's get off the squirrel tangent now. And we'll talk about another case. Equally as fucked up. Actually, probably more fucked up because this is a human case, not a squirrel. So, how often do you run into someone with the same name as you?
I've only met one other person with the same name, but not last name, just first name.
His first name. Same. I have a pretty unique name. I don't come across at least many people my age with my same name. It's a lot of like younger people.
And, well, my name is a disease.
What's the disease?
So,
Actually, maybe you don't want to say it on here if you don't want your first name on.
Addison's disease. It's a butt disease.
Aw, I'm sorry. What kind of butt disease?
I don't
may
know,
ask?
actually. I haven't researched it. I just know it's a butt disease.
I'm sorry for your disease.
So, hence why I'm Queen Reefer sitting here
Queen
today. That too.
As rare as it may seem, two women living in Houston, Texas, both named Mary Lou Morris, were about to find themselves with more than just similar names.
Uh-oh.
Our story starts out on October 12th, 2000 at around 10 a.m. The fire department was contacted in Houston, Texas, and the caller told them that they had seen some smoke coming from a remote area in Baytown, located just outside Houston, Texas. The call was disregarded as just burning leaf and not really looked into any further. So, first mistake. Nevertheless, it was about 7 hours later that evening that police were contacted again by someone else. They were off-roading, and at about 5 p.m. they saw a car in that same remote area that the first call was about. Like, same area. Yeah, same area that the first call had come from.
Okay. Wait, okay. So you said people off-roading.
Yep.
Called in the fire department 7 hours later
At 5 p.m.
about a car that was burnt.
Yeah, they found a car while they
Okay.
were off-roading. And it just so happened to be in that same,
Same
area
area.
that the leaf was burning in.
Yeah, but it's a leaf, right?
It doesn't seem so.
One singular leaf. I mean, to be able to even see like a fire from like a distance, like something more than a leaf is burning.
You would think
So for them to just be like dismiss it and just be like, it's a leaf, it's kind of crazy to me.
So, they discovered that car, called the police around 5 p.m., okay? When the police arrived to that area, it was protected by a gate and some dense trees, but they did find the car that the caller had reported. It was completely engulfed in flame. The fire roared so viciously that it consumed the entire car and the surrounding trees. So,
Yeah.
like, that's a big fire.
But, you know, again, it's just a leaf.
It's just...
No, that's like a really hot fire
Yeah.
for it to like burn the entire car and like trees around it.
Yeah. It's a big one, too.
Yeah.
It's hot and it's big. So
Yeah.
you would think it would set off more alarms before, like, the 7-hour mark, but I guess because it was surrounded by all of these trees that maybe it was suppressed a little bit more than what we would expect, you know? The heat was so intense it completely melted the interior of the car, the tires, the windows, and the body that was found inside was almost burnt to ash.
Holy shit. And the windows?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then again, it has to be like an extremely hot fire for it to burn all of that.
I don't know if you know how hot you have to burn bones at, but it's not, you can't just throw it in a fire pit and they're gonna disappear. You have to burn them. Like, the fact that they said almost to the point of ash, that's a hot fucking fire.
Mm-hmm. And for it to like melt like glass to like nothing is crazy.
Yeah, so we're not just looking at a normal ass fire.
So I'm assuming then like they probably used something to accelerate the heat or something.
Yes, exactly what I was gonna say. Like, it's not gonna just be a normal accelerant. We're talking about something more than just burning gas, you know, like you said. It wasn't just dump gasoline like you see on the movies, you know, and throw a match and just expect it to go up. It was like, I don't know what kind of accelerant you use for that. But something hotter than gasoline. While investigators quickly worked to identify the victim, they were able to focus on figuring out what make the vehicle was. And within a few hours, the police were able to identify it as the Chevrolet, or as a Chevrolet, not the Chevrolet.
The Chevrolet.
The Chevrolet.
The Chevrolet. Sounds so official.
It's a Chevrolet.
Chevrolet.
Chevrolet if you're nasty. So they were able to identify it as a Chevrolet, and it belonged to Mary Lou Morris, who had been reported missing by her husband earlier that day. Mary and her husband Jay were used to communicating regularly throughout the day, and when 4 p.m. rolled around and he had not heard a word from Mary that day, Jay thought it was a little strange, and he decided to call the Chase Bank where she worked in to check on her. So I feel like that's normal.
Yeah.
When the person on the other end of the phone told Jay that Mary had never made it into work that morning or that day, in fact, Jay immediately knew something was wrong. Because Mary wasn't someone that just skipped out on work, and if she was, it wasn't something that she wouldn't tell Jay. Like, they were in communication.
Especially if she like
heavily.
Yeah, especially if she like left to work that morning without saying anything.
Right. Yeah, it's immediately throwing up alarms for Jay. This was very out of character for her, and like we said, she wouldn't have done it without letting him know. So Jay called the police and reported his wife, Mary Morris, missing. So Jay retraced his step that morning and Mary's steps and started out normal enough. It was a normal, ordinary morning. Nothing happened that he could really remember that was out of the ordinary. And Mary Henderson Morris and Jay had been married about 5 years before the day she went missing. On the morning of October 12, 2000, Mary Lou Henderson Morris left her what the fuck?
Bitch, what the fuck?
Bitch, what the fuck? Her ranch. Her ranch.
This ain't Texas.
Woo.
Ain't no hold on.
Mary Henderson Morris and Jay had been married about 5 years before the day she went missing. And on the morning of October 12, 2000, Mary Lou Henderson Morris left her ranch in Baytown a little earlier than she did most days. She was ready and out the door at around 6 a.m. that morning. She wanted to get a head start on some work she had at the Chase Bank that she worked at as a loan officer. She was a longtime employee and worked there about 15 years. So, even more reason why she wouldn't just,
Dead.
not show
Yeah.
up, had a character for sure.
Unless she was just sick of it that day.
I'm just done.
I'm sick of it, Grandpa.
Fucking leaving. That's too damn bad.
But yeah, that's very out of character, for someone that works, that long.
Yeah.
And, especially if she obviously hasn't done it before or whatever,
Right.
and, something's off.
As a manager, too, there are certain employees that wouldn't really raise alarms if they didn't call or didn't show up to work. And there are other employees that if they're not there 15 minutes early or they're not there before, I get there, I'm immediately something happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, also just depends on the character of the person, but clearly
Yeah.
we knew that wasn't her character. So.
And you said that Jay had to call the bank. The bank didn't call.
Yes. So
Okay.
far.
I'm gonna not say anything because you gave the camera a look, so I think... Okay, I'll just listen.
Okay. So, Jay walked Mary to her Chevrolet Lumina that morning. So that's what she drove. And he did that every morning. And even though it was earlier, he still got up, got his ass out of bed, and walked her to her car that morning.
Slay King.
Yes. A real king. He watched as she pulled out of the driveway and turned onto the main road in the direction of the gas station she typically frequented. So, this gas station was not in the same direction as her work. It was in the opposite direction, so that's how he knew it was the gas station and not work she was going to. Jay never thought, as her car faded from view, that it would be the last time he talked to Mary. But it was.
Stop.
I know.
That makes me so sad.
I know. Isn't that horrible?
Just to think about, oh, that's, the last time you can ever,
Yeah.
But it's, so, also, not heartwarming, but it's so cute that, despite it being, super early, that he got up and still did it. Because could you imagine if that morning he was just it's too early, I'm not going to get out.
Do it yourself.
You know?
Yeah, he would have really regretted that.
Yeah. So, Slay King, we love that for you, Jay. Good job.
You do. Good job, Jay. Slay King. So, like I said, typically the two would communicate throughout the day while she was at work. And around noon, phone logs show that Jay called his wife's cell phone and he actually got her voicemail. So he did try and call her. And then he didn't really think much of that first call. Maybe she got busy in a meeting or caught up with a client or something and was busy. And
Well,
she'd call him back.
Too, it probably wouldn't seem too much out of the ordinary because she left early to catch up on some work before the day began. So, yeah, maybe it's just maybe she's just really busy because she went there early.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, he didn't think much of it, figured she was busy, but around 2 p.m., Mary's supervisor called Jay and asked for Mary. He didn't know or realize at the time that it was her supervisor.
Wait. Jerry called at noon?
Jay called at noon, yep.
Jerry? Jay? Jay called at noon.
Uh-huh.
They said, no, she's not here. Then 2 p.m. rolls.
He called her cell phone and got her voicemail.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I could have sworn earlier where it said
I did
he
say
called
that,
the
but that
work.
That was when so hold on. I said that the police had found the Chevy belonging to Mary, and that Mary was reported missing by her husband Jay, and that they were used to communicating when 4 p.m. rolled around. 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Remember 4 p.m. p.m. of the 4.
She said 4 p.m. Remember that 4 p.m.
4 p.m. is when he called Chase Bank. 4. And at noon, Chase Bank called Jay.
Okay.
So I did a little backtracking and then going back forward.
I see.
Do I need to go back?
No.
Okay.
I just remembered
So I
you
just
saying
said,
that he called the
He
bank.
called in, checked on her.
Yeah.
They said, nope, she's not here.
I'm on track.
He knew something was wrong.
Yes, I'm on track.
Okay. He retraced his steps. That's how I got backwards, because I was like, Jay retraced his steps from that morning. And that's how we got back to noon.
The bank called Jay.
The bank called Jay. They called him and they said, no, this was at 2 p.m. So Mary's supervisor called Jay, asked for Mary. He didn't know or realize that it was Mary's supervisor. So when they asked for Mary, he just simply said she was at work. And they said, okay, and then just hung up. So they didn't really press any further about, no, she's not at work, and he didn't really press any further about, who is this, why are you calling Mary? They both were just kind of like,
Okay.
you know, and ended it there. So that's why neither of them really realized, I suppose.
Which is like, I mean, I can see like if they just called him and was like, "Where's Mary? Can I talk to her?" And he's like, "She's not here," and that was it.
Yeah.
On his end, I can see like not really asking any questions because whatever. But on their end,
Yeah. It would be
if
like,
someone was like, "No, they're at work," I'm like, "Wait, this is work. She's not here." Unless they're like, "Oh, maybe she's doing some sneaky linky. I'm not gonna, you know, say
we're not
anything."
gonna mess with that. Yeah. So they just said, got it. Roger, and hung up. So that's kind of where the miscommunication started. I think it's an easy thing to start. I don't know if I would, if I called someone's house that, like, I thought was a no-call, no-show, and their husband was like, oh, she's at work. I would just kind of be like, you know, and then, like, hang up. I probably wouldn't impress.
Yeah. I guess, like, probably in the moment you wouldn't, but looking back, it's so easy for us to be like, why didn't you do this? Why did you do this?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
hindsight is always 20/20.
Yeah.
He didn't think much of it after that phone call. At around 4 p.m. is when Jay again called the Chase Bank to find out that Mary had never made it in that day. Mary had actually forgotten her cell phone at home that day, so when he called her, it was just at home,
Yeah.
on silent. So he then started to get even more panicked when he found it, and was like, what if she had gotten into an accident on the way to work? And he had no idea. What if she was stranded somewhere and couldn't call? And within a few hours of the police arriving at the scene, they were able to identify the car as Mary Morris's Chevrolet. So this is where it all ties back in. The reason it took even hours for them to figure it out was due to the fact that it was so badly burned. The tires, the interior, and the engine had all started melting.
And the engine.
Like, that's fucking hot.
Yeah.
Inside the car, in the passenger seat, were human remains. And
In the passenger seat.
In the passenger seat, not the driver's seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
So it's not her doing it. Obviously, I don't know why you would choose that method to set yourself on fire, but you're not.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, that kind of raises questions like, was she even alive
When it got set on
to
fire.
be taken to there to be set on fire, or what? You know what I mean? Like, huge questions are raised from that. So, yeah, her human remains were found in the car, and according to police, they were so badly burned they could only be identified through dental records. And 3 days after the car was found, the remains were positively identified as 48-year-old Mary Morris.
Isn't that so crazy that you can, like, identify people through their dental records?
Yeah, and when her bones are burned to ash, or her body's almost burned to ash, the teeth are still there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Okay, this is so, like, on topic but off topic.
Yeah?
What about people with dentures?
Oh, those things are melting.
Yeah, I know. I know they're melting, but then you can't. If someone has no teeth.
You'd have to, like, do bone fragments, if possible.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get little pieces that you're able to, like, match to DNA, but it's not a great method,
Yeah.
you know? DNA is never a great method.
Yeah.
Even as refined as the technology is, it's kind of scary how much of it is a estimated guess. Just kind of scary.
Rip.
Yeah, R.I.P. And that brings us to our first smoke break.
This smoke break is brought to you by bread.
So, the police worked to figure out exactly what happened to Mary, and maybe most importantly, why this happened to her. Because, what the fuck? Who just burns a body?
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like she was doing anything crazy unless they were trying to jack her car at the gas station. But honestly, there wasn't a lot of information regarding what Mary did that morning when she left home, since she never made it to work. So Jay said that he assumed, based on the direction that she was heading, she was going to the gas station. And an attendant at the gas station did say that he thought someone came in that morning fitting her description, but he wasn't positive that it was her. Sorry. But unfortunately, by the time the police wanted to check the security footage, the tapes had already been taped back over.
Ugh.
You know how that
Wait.
goes.
Is that like a normal thing with like recorders and like surveillance cameras? It just tapes over?
Especially the old ones, and especially at gas stations like that. It'll be like 7 days and it'll re-record.
So,
Which
why did they go back days
I
later?
don't know if it was days later. It just said that by the time that they had gone back, it wasn't there anymore. So they waited either too long or maybe it didn't even save for longer than 24 hours or something. I don't know.
What? Now who did that?
I don't know.
I'm sure it's not that way anymore.
I would hope not. I bet some places.
What
are
year
still.
was that?
2000. A while ago. Over 24 years ago.
No.
Yes.
Simply no.
Simply cannot. Yeah, 24 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
It's plausible, but still, who designed that system?
I don't know.
Flawed.
It is flawed. It's like the people, we have a safe at work that we had to completely destroy to get the money out of because the safe only has a certain number of opens. And this was a business that had this safe. You only had like 1 million times you could open a safe. And after that, it completely locked you out. You couldn't get back into it.
What the heck?
I know.
Huh.
Like, who the hell?
Who the hell?
And it's all for
Yeah.
money.
That's crazy.
I know. Unfortunately, yeah, like I said, by the time that they came back, the tapes had been taped back over, and police had a theory that maybe someone approached her at the gas station and may have tried to rob her or carjack her, and ended up just taking her with them, which they couldn't really prove because the cameras, you know.
But also, you would think if they were trying to just like carjack, why'd they set it on fire? I mean, after they were done with the use of it, but then why keep her?
Exactly. My next line exactly was, it's hard to believe that this was a carjacking at all when the person responsible had burned the car and a robbery seemed unlikely. So,
Yeah.
right on the same track there, girl.
Yeah.
It just seems
Not
odd.
it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's
The reason.
a normal, plausible reason,
Yeah.
I'll say. And I mean, it could be. I've never been in that situation, so who's to say that you wouldn't make a bad decision like that if
Yeah.
that was the end goal? But like, did you get anything out of it? Doesn't seem like it. A few of Mary's belongings were missing. Mary's wedding ring was missing, but she still had a couple diamond jewelry pieces on her, so like necklaces and earrings. But her wedding ring was missing. Her purse had been taken, but her credit cards were never used. And if this were robbery, why did they leave behind the other diamond jewelry she had on and just take the wedding ring? Like,
Yeah.
a wedding ring is a very particular piece of, I want to say, a trophy that a killer would take, but usually, like, it's a trophy. So, either you're saying this is a serial killer or someone who is specifically going for someone that wants that trophy because A, it was like a hit attack, or B, it was a hate thing, so you want to have something
or like
that
a
you
jealousy.
remember. Yeah. Either way.
You said a hit attack. That I was kind of like thinking this in my head before you said that, but you said they took her wallet and stuff, but never used their card. If it was a hitman, maybe they needed like her ID as like proof that like they got her.
Yeah. Which is fucked.
Mind blown right now.
I know. There were no fingerprints, no bullet casings, nothing. And whoever did this clearly wanted to cover their tracks, so they did a good job of it, honestly. According to Houston Sheriff Detective Robert Tonnery, whoever did this took a great deal of time to seclude her in that area, and someone went to the trouble to make sure that there was absolutely no evidence left behind. End quote.
Because then, like, okay, I want to bring it back to, like, the hit theory.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, maybe someone just woke up that day and was like, I'm going to do this heinous act and, like, just find some random person and light their car on fire. Like, I assume this person had to have the materials with them in order to start a fire and to, like, set it on fire.
Yeah.
And if our theory is correct with getting them using a different, like, accelerator to make the fire even more hot, then they would have had to be prepared with that material as well. So it seems pretty unlikely that it was just like a random thing.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems very unlikely that it was just, oh, I'm going to take your car and whatever you have on you. Like, that's not sitting right with me, for sure. So why, who, what, how did this happen? You know, that's not what I have written down, but who did this? Who could have done this to Mary? Mary was a 48-year-old mother and grandmother, and she seemed very wholesome. Marilyn, her daughter, described her mother as sweet and hardworking and a non-confrontational person. She never argued with anyone or even with Jay, and when her and Jay ended up having disagreements or didn't see eye to eye on something, she was never one to raise her voice. She would just come at it very calm, very collected, very peaceful. So not someone that you would immediately expect someone to pick out to carry something out like this,
Well,
know?
we kind of mentioned it last week as well. Like, it always seems like the most genuine, kind-hearted people always have, like, not always, but seems like a majority of the time.
Yeah.
Like, the good people always
It
get
sucks.
targeted.
It sucks. And someone's grandma? Come on. Who
People
wants
are
someone's
cruel.
grandma dead that bad? And it, like, I don't know. I'll get into this later when we get into theories, but let me just keep going. So she would never even raise her voice. She was not the type of person anyone would really expect to be a target of such a horrible end. And police started to look into Mary's life. Did she have any enemies or anyone that would have wanted her dead? And if so, why, you know? But they kept coming up with absolutely nothing. Time after time again, they're not finding anything, any plausible reasons as to why.
Did it talk about anything with Jay? With
Yes,
them
actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll shut up.
Her and Jay seemed to have a fine marriage, according to police and Jay. And Jay actually had an alibi for that day. He had traveled. He had traveled a few towns over to talk to someone about buying a horse. Because Texas, you know?
Texas things.
Texas things. Interestingly enough, however, the direction Jay would have traveled to go to that town would have brought him right past Mary's burning car, which he told police he did not see when he was driving.
So maybe the theory of like the fire department just like waving it off as leaves means like the fire wasn't that visible from that end of town. So maybe it is possible that Jay didn't really see it if it was just dismissed as leaves earlier.
It's possible. Very possible. They said it was a very dense tree area, so could have covered it up.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. It's crazy to think that nobody would have seen it or thought
Well,
much of
someone
it.
did see
They
it.
did, yeah. He wouldn't have seen it, I should say.
Yeah. And if you're not really looking for it, you know, maybe he could have just been like zoned out, like
Yeah.
driving, just looking
Not really
ahead,
caring.
not really
Yeah.
looking around his surroundings, since I mean it's probably a typical road that you would drive on close to home anyway.
Right. Yeah. And in theory, he would have passed Mary's car like right around the time the initial call was made. So maybe the smoke that was coming from the forest wasn't as big as the like after effects that burned the car, you know? Jay was ultimately cleared almost immediately by police, and they ruled that no one else in her life was a suspect, and the case started going cold fast after that. Marilyn Mary Henderson, Marilyn, who is Mary Henderson Morris's daughter. Sorry, there's a lot of M's.
Yeah, tongue twister.
Remembers being frustrated with how the investigation into her mother's death went, and she did not have much of a relationship with Jay at all. Her mother had married him when she was an adult and out of the house, so she didn't really know him very well. And after her mother's death, they did not keep in touch. So she kind of lost both her mother and what could have been, you know, her stepfather.
Yeah.
All in one swoop. Marilyn was shocked to learn that within a few months, Jay had already married a Russian woman that she believed was a mail-order bride. Now, it wasn't confirmed, but that's what she believed. I don't know what gave her that impression. Maybe that it was just so...
I smell cookies.
You think he's making them already?
I think so. Do you guys smell that? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, brother. And that's our second smoke break.
And this smoke break is brought to you by chocolate chip cookies.
And we're back from our smoke break.
Woohoo. Good
Yeah.
job, Brad.
And
Oh, wait,
cookie.
that was chocolate chip cookie time.
Yeah, it was fucking delicious. Just so you know, the dab hit, the cookie hit. We're ready to finish this episode. So, where we left off was Marilyn, Mary's daughter, was shocked to learn that within a few months of her mother's death, Jay had already married another woman, a Russian woman that she had believed to be a mail order bride. There's no evidence of this, but like I said, she presumed.
Which is like so crazy too, because like let's say Jay's like completely innocent.
Mm-hmm.
You would think like 5 months after like losing your spouse would be so quick. Like how do you even like grieve and get over it and like heal in time
Yeah.
to love someone else? You
I
know?
don't know.
5 months after a death of a spouse is crazy business.
Yeah. It really is. I don't even. And to get married.
Exactly.
Married. Like a whole ass marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Psychotic, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's wild business.
Yeah. Marilyn was also upset that the police did not ask more questions about what happened the day before Mary was murdered, so they didn't really, or at least they didn't share that they asked Jay any information. They could have, but it wasn't brought to Marilyn's attention that they had done that, and she was upset. She believed that they had blindly believed Jay's story and that he had watched her get into her car and drive off that morning. But that if she had been killed before that morning, excuse me, and put into her car and then maybe driven to a remote location. So, I mean, like we said, she was found in the passenger seat, so like...
Okay. So in theory, though, if that was the case and let's say people did think it was Jay and he had already killed her before and then dropped her off, that means he would have to hike all the way back in order to get home to go look at the horses on the way. You know? Like,
Yeah.
the
you're right.
timeline just, unless, like, you had another car up there or something, like, the timeline just doesn't add up
Yeah, you're right.
for it to be him. Unless, yeah, no, for me, it just doesn't add up.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a little, rushed.
Yeah.
If that was him to have done it, so.
Because I assume it was a little bit of a distance from their house. So that means he would have to walk all the way home.
Yeah.
Then,
Go back.
yeah, and then drive to go look at the houses. So it just like,
Yeah.
doesn't add up for
I
me.
agree.
I think it is weird that he remarried within 5 months, but I don't feel like he's really suspicious
Yeah.
in my mind right now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about Jay. I just feel like he's maybe a dick more than anything.
But then we have to remember he walked her to her car every morning.
Well, that's what he says.
True.
You know? He didn't live with anybody else, so.
True.
But I don't want to disregard what he did either. Alright, so. Marilyn's mad about the way it was handled. And she said that, the car should have been searched a little bit more, but it wasn't, and there probably was more evidence that they could find, but before police were able to get to the car and to like research it for evidence, Jay sent it to the scrapyard to get destroyed.
How did he get the car back? Wouldn't that be police property at that point? Like it becomes an active crime scene?
Should.
How did he get it back?
I have no idea. It doesn't ever say. He just says that he had it. Yeah, I don't know how he got the car, but he got the car, and he had it destroyed before they could relook at it, so. Granted, I don't know how much they could find because of how badly destroyed it was, but
still, you would
perhaps they
like...
could.
It could still be like an active crime scene, even if they
Could
like
be.
initially didn't find evidence or think there is evidence there. To give it to like potentially a suspect, like I'm sure they've ruled him out for the most part, but there's always a chance it still could be, even if he didn't physically do it.
Yeah.
And for them to give it back to him before anything was even solved is like so crazy to me.
It is crazy. I don't know why people make the decisions they do, but here they are, making bad decisions. Even though the case was already taking over news coverage before Mary's remains were identified, Marilyn could already feel the investigation on her mother becoming cold with lack of evidence and suspects. So
Mm.
she said that there was a lot of traction, a lot of coverage on the news, but ultimately there wasn't anything there.
Yeah.
So regardless if there was coverage, like
If you have no evidence,
if
you have no evidence.
yeah, there's not much you can do about that.
Yeah.
She personally felt that Jay was being flippant and that the police had given up, and there was no obvious answer, and some of the key pieces of evidence, aka the car, had been destroyed. So what more can you really look into? Only 3 days after Marilyn Henderson Morris was found dead in her car, another Mary Morris would be found dead in her car in the same metro area.
Mm.
This, of course, added a whole new element to the case, one that made Marilyn hopeful that they would maybe be able to solve her mother's murder also.
Yeah.
On Monday, October 17th, 2000, the body of Mary McGinnis Morris, another Mary Morris, who had also had short, dark brown curly hair, was found dead inside her car in Houston.
And that's just not a coincidence.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
I fucking wouldn't think so.
It almost goes back to, like, the hit theory again. Of, like, was it a mistake the first time and now they have to, like, get the actual Mary Morris that they're after?
How crazy is it that they would both live in Houston?
Right.
I mean,
Same.
Houston's big, but like...
But yeah, same
Come on.
first name, same last name, and same county.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's even... Yeah, no. No. That's weird. Right?
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
that's weird. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's why, like, I mean, I'll let you finish, but the hit theory of, like, it gone wrong. Especially if they looked pretty similar.
Yeah, which they said they did.
Does she also
do
drive
have
the same
pictures.
car?
Does not drive the same car.
Oh.
But same name, same look, same area.
Yeah.
You know, close enough, I think. Close enough to be mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
So, Mary McGinnis Morris was 39 years old. She was a nurse practitioner who had been out running errands that day before she was reported missing. She had administered a flu shot to her friend Lori Gimmel, and then she went to the post office, and then the grocery store, and then a drugstore. So, like Walgreens or whatever. While at the drugstore, Mary McGinnis Morris called her friend Lori, who she had just given that flu shot to. Lori said that Mary said to her that there was a man there who was making her feel a little uneasy. So that's never a good sign. Lori said that she had said it matter of fact and not necessarily like she was scared, but more just like, hey, like, there's someone here that's kind of making me feel a little uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
She was aware that Mary herself was uncomfortable and that she was going to head home as soon as she was done. But actually first she told Lori that she was going to make one quick stop at work to shut off her computer before she went home. And you know, it's the 2000s, so
Y2K.
gotta shut off that computer, so...
It doesn't take over the world.
Exactly. So that's why she had to run home and not just let it stay over the weekend or whatever. After 15 minutes after that phone call was made to Lori, Mary McGinnis Morris called 911. So,
Oh.
yeah. She was able to make that call, but unfortunately by the time that call ended, Mary was dead.
Mm.
So, I haven't personally heard the phone call, but it is presumed that whoever was on the other end may have heard her murder.
But it doesn't say specifically.
It doesn't say specifically, but it said she was able to connect to 911 and before the call had ended, she was dead. So, it's fairly likely.
Yeah.
Unless the phone got dropped somewhere, you know what I mean, in between, but... When Mary didn't make it home that evening, her husband called Mary's cell to see where she was. This was about an hour and a half after she made that 911 call. And then when he didn't get an answer, he called the police to report her missing. Mary's phone records show about a 4-minute incoming call from Mike, who's her husband, who had been at the movies with their teenage daughter Katie at the time of the murder.
4-minute incoming call?
Yeah, so...
But he didn't talk to her?
He didn't talk to her.
But he has his alibi of being with the kids at the movie.
Being at the movies.
Hmm.
Yeah, that one's weird to me because it doesn't ring for 4 minutes. He didn't leave a 4-minute message. It connected it.
Unless he called her, went to voicemail, and he thought he hung up.
No, it didn't go to voicemail at all. It connected.
Oh, it can
connected.
oh.
Because they can see that on the phone records.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
It didn't go to voicemail. It wasn't a voicemail left. It was a connected phone call. Interesting, right?
Right.
Mike told investigators that he had never reached his wife. It just rang and rang and rang, however the phone company, he said it just rang and rang and rang, but however the phone company insisted that the cell phone was connected, like I said, so.
Playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Maybe he did call. They answered and it was just nothing, and so maybe he was just
It rang.
yeah, and then hung up.
Per 4 minutes?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's weird.
You never know.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here.
No, I like it. I'm just also playing the other side. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's still weird.
4 minutes is a long time. A minute is a long time.
Yeah. No, it's definitely weird. I'm just if he was at his, that's why I'm playing more devil's advocate, because I'm if he was with his kids at the movies.
Yeah, it would be hard to do.
Yeah.
It would be. All of it would be hard.
But yeah, it's weird though
It's
that it connected
weird.
for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And he was no, didn't talk to her.
Uh-huh.
Didn't get through.
Mary's car was found the next morning by a tow truck driver, and she was found inside her car with a single gunshot wound to the head.
Mm.
She only had one thing missing from her.
Her wedding ring?
Her wedding ring. The theory is looking better and better.
So that one wasn't burnt? She was just shot?
Not burnt, just shot. One single gunshot wound.
Mm-hmm.
Mary's wedding ring was the only thing missing, and it appeared that she had been severely beaten and gagged before being shot in the head. According to her husband Mike, Mary McGinnis Morris had been keeping the gun that was used to kill her in her car for about 2 weeks, and for a good reason though. She was afraid of another nurse who worked with her. Who worked with Mary, a man named Dwayne Young, who made her uncomfortable. Mary's friend Lori Gimmel, who we talked about earlier, who was on the phone with her that day that she went missing, said that Dwayne, quote, complained to her supervisors, questioned her authority, and often seemed agitated by her. Lori asked Mary at one point if she really thought that he could hurt her, and she said, yes, I do. I think he could even do worse, which is scary as fuck. Things only seemed to get worse at work with Dwayne, and eventually there was a note found in Mary's office that said, quote, death to her, end quote, which...
That's terrifying.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah, no, that's horrifying. I don't like that at all.
No. That's so ominous, considering what ends up happening to her,
Mm-hmm. So was any of that brought to HR?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, she found that. Mary believed that it was actually from Dwayne, and it was written about her. Obviously, it was found in her office on her desk. She found things out of place on her desk. Pictures turned to face wrong directions. And on Dwayne's desk, there was words written, "Death to her," which she assumed also was about her. Like, obviously, if you find one in your office and another one in his, you're gonna assume.
Especially with him being creepy, too.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it's weird as fuck.
I don't like that.
Yeah, her husband Mike said that after she found the note, she made a phone call to him on her way home, and he could tell that she was shaken up about it.
Understandably so.
Completely. She got home and asked him that night if he could provide her with a gun to carry with her so she could have it for protection. She asked him to go over the handling and the use of the gun, and when they were finished, she asked him to place the gun under her car, under the driver's seat. So that's where that gun remained until she was ultimately killed with it. Mary took the note to her supervisors, and they advised her not to come into work on Friday the 13th. When Mary didn't show up to work that day, it was reported that Dwayne started asking where Mary was. Which...
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Hold your horses. HR said, don't come in tomorrow.
Well, because it was Friday the 13th. And you know how
yes.
people are.
Yes. True. But they didn't do anything with that information beyond that. Like, yeah, cool. Send her home. Don't let her come back until you do an investigation.
Yeah.
And, like, what?
Yeah.
That's all it says that they did? Just go home? Don't come tomorrow?
Yeah, don't come. They just advised her not to come in tomorrow. Yeah. I know.
What?
That's good old HR for you. They always do such a good job.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
That's so mind-blowing that's all, like, they're like, just don't come in.
Yeah.
Ew.
So, Lori Gimmel, again, Mary's friend, reported that Dwayne was banging on windows asking for Mary. And then eventually he was so irate that he was escorted out of the building.
Wow.
Yeah.
He must have been, like, really going crazy if they're like, yeah, no, you're out of here.
You need to leave. So 2 days later, after that happened, Sunday, Mary was dead. 2 days later.
And when was the other Mary killed again?
The first Mary was killed October 12th.
12th.
13th.
When did the other one? 15th?
Huh?
So 12th, 15th.
12th, 15th. So that would be interesting because
But that
they
timeline-
told her not to come in on the 13th. Which would be... I don't know.
The 12th.
I don't know.
The 12th is when she probably found that note. It was when the other Mary,
What's that?
unfortunately, had her life taken. 3 days later is when other Mary died.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, I try to wrap my brain around this. This is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need a chalkboard. Mary died the 12th.
Yeah.
The first Mary died
Yeah.
the 12th.
Yeah. The first call came in at 10 a.m. So early.
I'm assuming other Mary found the note that said death to her also on the 12th.
Or earlier that week, even.
Yeah, sometime that week.
Because she was able to come home, tell her husband. He said that she had been carrying that gun for, she had been carrying that gun for a week before her death. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was only 2 days in between all of this. So, while police had no leads at first, Lori Grimmel, who is the friend, remembered another piece of evidence from her phone call with Mary McGinnis Morris that morning. 15 minutes before she was shot with the gun she kept in her car, Mary told her, Lori, that she thought she recognized the creepy man following her as someone she had met through Dwayne Young.
Oh.
Ooh. Spicy. Yeah. So through Dwayne Young, you say, Dwayne had been a problem. Mary and her husband had actually attended events at his home, and he had been to theirs. So it is possible that Mary had met a couple people through him.
Yeah.
I don't know why they were all hanging out, but... So Dwayne himself had no physical evidence that put him at the scene, nothing to actually charge him on, and the gun in Mary's car only had her and her husband's fingerprints on it, which, you know, both of theirs was expected based on the story Mike gave them. So before police looked into who this mysterious creepy man following Mary was, they wanted to look into Mike Morris a little bit more, who is Mary's husband.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike immediately lawyered up right after the murder, making authorities, of course, wonder if, you know, that's a little suspicious, making him a little suspicious.
That doesn't bother me.
No. Like, I would say this a million times over, like, always lawyer up if you're in that situation. I'll bring you back to the West Memphis 3 case once again, because I'm here to always bring that case up. Fucking lawyer up, because... You think that they can't just go making bullshit up against you, but they fucking can, and they will. And if they find you absolutely any type of, like, not the person that they think you are, they're gonna fucking charge you, and you're gonna be in jail for murder.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
And not to mention, like, a lot of places keep you so long while they're interrogating you, where you, like... They start to, like, make you believe things that they're telling you, even if it's not true.
Right.
So, that doesn't bother me at all.
No, it's smart to lawyer up.
I don't get suspicious.
No, we know it's the best option. Lawyer up regardless of your situation. So I'm not going to say that, like, based off that he's a suspect, you know, we're not going to say that. But police definitely thought so, you know. Of course, the police are going to think that. One thing police quickly realized about Mike and Mary Morris was they did not have a perfect marriage like
Who does?
Jay and Mary supposedly had. The problem seemed to start when the couple moved to Houston, actually. Mike felt that Mary may have been cheating on him.
Ooh.
Which brings another element of this interesting story, you know? I don't know. Maybe she had a secret thing with
Dwayne.
Dwayne.
I don't know if I want to start saying it now, or if I like wait a little bit.
Yeah, let me get a little bit more in.
Okay.
Hold on to your thought. He went so far as to confront her and the person he believed to be in love with her, or be her lover. I'm sorry. Both of them denied the accusations, however. According to Mike, though, he chose to believe his wife, and he said that things had dramatically improved since then, and at the time of his wife's death, they were nearly best friends again.
Nearly.
I've never described anyone as nearly my best friend.
Yeah, either they are or they're not.
You're not nearly nothing.
Yeah.
Weird as fuck to describe your relationship with your husband. Or wife, I should say in this case, but like...
Yeah.
You're nearly best friends again. No, I don't know about that.
I don't like nearly.
Some people, however, say otherwise. Friends and family say that Mike remained distrustful and resentful, and at times he would follow his wife around. It doesn't sound like he let that go. His accusations may have not, though, been completely baseless. Stephanie Lore, who was Mary Morse's sister, said that Mary had confessed to her at one point that she had fallen in love with another man. The plot thickens.
I have so much I want to say.
Do you want to say it?
Should I?
It's up to you.
Or should I wait?
That's up to you.
My theory is maybe it will change as the story develops. What if Dwayne was her secret lover?
That's what I think too.
Yes, what if they were the two, right? They liked each other, had an affair with each other, and they went over to each other's house at the time where they were on good terms. Now, what if when Mike, what if when Mike found out about the affair, then Mary cut it off and was like, hey, we can't do this no more.
Yeah.
And that's when he became really crazy.
Mm-hmm. That classic love triangle shit that we love to hear about.
Yes. What if?
What if?
Anyways.
Audience. Stephanie said that she'd fallen in love with another man. She said that Mary did not want to leave Mike, however, and she was going to try and work things through. But after going to a few different marriage counselors with no improvement, she was thinking about a divorce. According to Mary's daughter, Katie, the man was questioned, but he was never considered as a suspect. So I don't know if that would be Dwayne or not, you know?
Yeah.
Mike Morris, however, was considered a suspect almost immediately. He asked for an attorney and refused to take a polygraph test, which I would do both those things too. I don't think that's an end-all for someone to be suspicious, quote-unquote, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He also, though, wouldn't let the cops talk to their daughter, Katie, which...
I mean, depending on... How old did it say she was?
It didn't say.
Yeah, depending on how old she is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have... You know, why would you let your little kid?
Right. I agree. Police, of course, thought that this was suspicious, though, and they had no issue with telling the press that only guilty people ask for attorneys.
Wrong.
That's...
They are wrong.
Wrong. Yeah. Ask for an attorney. Mike seemed to be relatively cooperative in other ways, though. He submitted blood samples, fingerprints, and allowed police access to their home. There just wasn't enough physical evidence to charge Mike with her murder.
Yeah.
So I don't think they had anything to go off with that.
Especially, like, I mean, if it was, like, standalone cases, right, then maybe you can, like, look into the husband a little bit more or be like, maybe it was the husband just based off of the fact of, like, the wedding ring being missing or other stuff. But for it to be two Mary Morrises, it's like, okay, it's not going to be the husband for both or one, right?
No,
you wouldn't think. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A hit gone wrong.
Yeah. But it actually being the husband who physically did it?
Right. Police figured it was maybe a carjacking or a robbery gone wrong again, and even though the car was not jacked, and the only thing missing from Mary was her wedding ring, like, I don't know why they would still suspect that. That's odd to me, but that was their assumption at first. Her ring actually did not stay missing for long, however. Months after the murder, one of Mary's friends noticed her daughter Katie was wearing the ring, and Mike just simply told police that she didn't wear it to work that day. She didn't wear it out when she was murdered, and they found it, which...
Could be possible, but also weird.
I'm not wearing mine currently, so...
Yeah.
It's very possible. There are plenty of rumors and theories surrounding both of these cases that we could just go into some, but they are just mostly people's educated guess, some better than others, but ultimately they're all just guesses. Mary McGinnis Morris's case had more suspects, but eventually police ruled that just like Mike Henderson Morris, there was just not enough evidence to charge anyone for her murders, or their murders for that matter. Just like the case of Mary Henderson Morris, the murder of Mary McGinnis Morris went cold. Both of them remain unsolved to this day, unfortunately. Both cases were initially high profile because of their shocking coincidences, but neither family nor victims have had justice for this unwanted murder. Both were full of life, love, and both deserve to live and deserve to see justice. So, what are your thoughts on the case?
I mean,
I know we discussed that we thought maybe love triangle. I think maybe a love triangle go wrong. Maybe even the element of a hitman. You know what
I
mean?
think it could be two reasons. I think both are a hitman theory.
Mm-hmm.
I think number one might be the Dwayne situation where they were in love. She cut it off. He got upset, put out a hit on her.
Mm-hmm.
Or the second theory being of which her husband put out the hit because they were having marriage problems. She cheated on him. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It could be both. But I don't know.
Either way, fuck.
Yeah.
And if it's not either of those, then it's the most like uncanny coincidence that has ever happened. Which
I don't think it is.
no,
I really don't.
no,
I really
not with
don't.
both wedding rings missing.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way.
No.
There's no fucking way.
No.
I don't
There's no
believe
way.
it.
Yeah, I do think
I
it's 100% the hitman theory.
I'm
Of either
pretty
way,
on board
but
with that,
I'm more leaning towards the hitman from her coworker
too.
or from her lover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just simply based on the fact that there was a note
Yeah.
in
And
their
the freak
offices
out.
and the freak out after.
Yeah. And the fact that she said she might have recognized that guy in the store
Yeah.
from Dwayne.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but
I'm leaning more towards on that side.
yeah.
Because, like, yeah,
Kinda where I
her
fall, too.
husband might have a little suspicious whatever, but he also had a lullaby of being with his daughter. Well, not lullaby. He had an alibi of where he was.
He did.
So, yeah. Coworker.
Yeah. I'm gonna save breath. Let us know what you guys think. Because obviously this is still an unsolved case. Let's be respectful in the comments if you do have any theories. But we would like to know what you guys think. Because any kind of publicity is good for these kind of cases, honestly. Bringing traction to cold cases in respectful manners are always good for the cases. So
Yeah. And then, yeah,
let's do it.
just for us too, like, we love reading the comments. So if, again, throughout the season, wow, that was a struggle. Throughout the season, if you do have theories that's like completely different from ours, please let us know, because we do enjoy reading those and we will read them. But yeah,
Yeah. Let us know what you think. And until next time, stay high.
stay safe.
Thank you for listening.
Hey guys, let us know what you think down below in the comments, but as always, be respectful and kind, as these are serious cases that have yet to be solved. If you enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can know when we drop our next episode.